Hello and welcome back to String Zero. We will be continuing where we left off, which, if you recall, is after Crown saved Ravi from the Blind One, whose name I forget how to pronounce again. Also, I want to apologize, which I was supposed to do in the previous video. That whole section at the very beginning where I'm like struggling or like just plain not pronouncing the weird-ass names. It's because that was supposed to be done in a whole take, because I still haven't gotten the hang of editing the music for this visual novel, because I have to re-add it when I edit. And I was like, well, because you're going to be using a specific type of music that they use for this visual novel where I technically don't have access to it, the audio files. I was like, I'm just going to do this in one whole take. So when it came to pronouncing those words, I completely blanked, and I was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna try because I need to do this in one take. And yeah, I know I could have probably gone back and redone it, but I didn't want to. It just came down to me not wanting to do that, so I was just like whatever. So I apologize. Oh, anyways, yeah, so Crown saved Ravi. They temporarily merged. They now share a bit of each other inside of them. Whether or not that becomes permanent, we don't know yet. Ravi got a little bit of insight into, well, not insight. I guess that is insight about Crown, but also about Crown and Dameric's relationship, and the fact that they used to be something, but now they're not, and how that may or may not complicate things, especially because now Ravi is feeling weird, conflicting emotions about Dameric. And he, for some reason, feels like he can trust him even though he doesn't really know him, which is how probably Crown feels about Dameric, where it's like, you know, we used to be a thing, but I can still trust you. And that trust that Crown legitimately feels because he knows this person is now inside of Ravi. That is what Ravi is feeling, even though he does not have any reason to trust the Direwolf. Also, well, I'll discuss this later at the end of this video. But what else? Some other stuff happened, which I'll discuss at the end of this video. I say that because they again bring it back up later on. So yeah. Anyways, yeah, I guess that's most of what happened. They're now on their way out of the storyteller's respite. I think that's what it's called. I forget. Something respite. And they're gonna go meet some people. So yeah. Anyway, so I guess without further ado, let us continue String Zero. We walk as hallway become tunnel, wide and peppered with advertisement monitors, holograms, and opulent fixtures that echo the respite's design. I've arranged for some privacy on the elevator. I nod and nothing else. We walk until wood-paneled walls and lush carpeting open into a celebrity-ready, multi-tiered grand staircase. Smooth and polished and perfect. After a morning on the surface, part of me wants to spit at this fool's paradise. How unlike the club's exterior, rough and real like the dock workers and ruiners who use it. How unlike Kavir, always tripping over the mess of us. I'm still annoyed with him, and I wish that he was here. It's flawless. He leans against a balustrade of sculpted crystal, looking down. His tone is poisonous. One good thing that you've done for me tonight, saved me from being poised up here like a celebrity mannequin. The meet and greets Derek mentioned. He nods. Stage plays. Photo opts for Tarov to look important. He drums a few fingers over the sparkling surface. Shame I don't have a rock. Has a part of me now buried in him magnified his hatred? I'm suddenly distressingly aware of my own disgust. We walk. We walk down the stairs and under an intricately carved archway at its base, flanked by illuminated fountains. My HUD flares alive as I step through the holographic turnstiles of the public security gate. Citizenship confirmed. Welcome, Ravi, Rayan. I wave it off. Hold up. We're gonna use the VIP elevator so we can talk without an audience. So that's what he meant by privacy? Isn't that just for company bigwigs? As much as I hate to admit it, being attached to Tarov has its perks. Give me a sec and I'll let you through. Sure. He gestures for me to walk further down and then disappears into a different and much more elaborate security gate built into the living rock. There's probably fancy Sargosian wine in there or something. I follow the wall for a few minutes, fingers grazing the stone. It's painted with various artistic maps of the Laotian citizen transit system, murals of momentous events in the city's history, the sorts of things a native would resonate with, probably. Congratulations, Ravy, Raeshin. Gah! A hologram suddenly sizzles into being, some androgynous direwolf. I slam myself against the wall. You are being granted temporary status as an allo retainer. Please come this way. Ew. I look around. There's only a few people milling about. None of them seem to be punks, or my entire rep, what little of there is, could have just evaporated. Yeah, okay. Make it quick. Thankfully, the hologram matches my pace as we power walk towards another private gate with a sealed security door. The space within is an expanded lounge with decorations similar to the staircase and beyond, out-of-touch luxury. The hologram says something cut off by my fist slamming against the door's controls. Crown stands nearby with a crystal glass filled with an amber liquid. I fold my arms. What? Sargosian wine? He rolls his eyes. Whiskey. What do you want from me? I'm here. I'm drinking it. I deserve that much. He grumbles and points to a series of private, more intimately sized elevators compared to the normal lifts which carry hundreds. Well, in that case, I think I'll get some. Nope. He shoves me forward. Hey! The rady guy is stronger than he looks. You're still on Kitty Glove's probation. Besides, I need your head clear. I shove my hands into my jacket. Yeah, well, booze is probably laced with company mind control serum anyways. I would be so lucky to not have to think. The elevator is as posh as a lounge, classy fixtures, wing-back chairs surrounding a low table in warm light, glass walls tinted for privacy, though we're currently surrounded by bedrock. It feels exactly like the kind of place rich corpos would talk about casually murdering someone. I dump myself into one of the chairs as Crown keys in our destination and the door closes. He sits opposite of me, legs crossed, sipping meaningfully. What? His eyes stay on me. You listening, Aeon? Yup, been waiting. This the new guy? A husky voice comes from the elevator speakers. Laotian accent, street level, probably from Gittowan or the Scrum. Well, hey New Light. Nightlight said, later, be good? Okay, pissy pants, calm down. Surveillance is held. Feel free to get nasty. Gross. Second it. Less commentary, more privacy. You really are zero fun, you know. Well, whatever you get up to, everything will reset when you leave, so no going back up unless you want Big Meanie Wolf hearing all the dirt. Thanks. A few taps to the control panel on his armrest, and an engine whirls. The barest of jolts, and we start heading down. He then opens his mouth to say something but pauses, looking up sharply instead. Privacy means leave. An awkward silence settles between us as he waits for something. Suspicious twat. Fine. We'll chat at the Rain, new guy. Hope you're more fun than clown here. Crown huffs, leaning back. He rubs at a temple and then sips his drink. Clown, huh? That was your freebie. Say it again and I'll melt your brain. Worth it. Neve mentioned an Ion. That them? The very same. Those two have a messy history, but Ion's one of the best net runners around and happened to be in need of a new crew, so I tolerate him. You could stand to be less of an ass. He shrugs. So could you. And then narrows his eyes. Also, don't think that I've forgotten everything that you're not telling me about Neve and the security room. I slouch in the chair uncomfortably. The Veterus AI. I'm curious what Crown knows, but just thinking about the whole thing makes me nauseous. Yeah, sure, fine. Later. One thing is bothering me though. Just one? I mean about you, this jazz running. Meanie Wolf Taroff's not a problem? Like he's letting you just do merc work on the side, no questions, with your abilities? Wouldn't that be a bad look? Seems like something that he'd care about. Sharp, you're not wrong. Jazz singers are typically kept at a short leash. The company won't abide having people with our abilities just running around, after all. He eyes me. I shrink uncomfortably. So Taroff and I have an arrangement. He covers for me, and in return, I do whatever he asks. You his errand boy or something? I swear I see his eye twitch. Don't be a shit. That's how he works. If he hasn't manhandled you into something yet, he will soon. There's no getting out of it, so make use of him. Illustratively, he loudly sips his booze. Why then? Why what? Be a jazz runner. You don't need the money with Taroff's backing. I have my reasons, and no, I am not telling you. Before you're careful. Right. I swallow loudly. Listen. That word still gives me a cold chill. Taroff thrives on information, but there are places that he can't go, like the rain for political reasons, optics. So I keep my involvement in jobs discreet while keeping an ear out for details that I know that he'd care about. Occasionally look into things that he can't. You get jobs with people knowing that you work for him? For him? Ever heard of Gilded Cage? I'm a fucking government-mandated, indentured servant making the best of a bad situation. Be careful, or you'll have it even worse with what you can do. Yeah, I know. Good. And yes, I get jobs, though my situation is unique. Professional runners like Jiv don't care much as long as the pay is good, and while the tech punk runners hate corporal collaborators, the smart ones understand that Taroff has an interest in damaging the standing and status of his political rivals. To them, damaging one corpo is as good as damaging another, so they turn a blind eye to the fact that working with me or taking my info likely means Taroff is up to something. The enemy of their enemy and all that. So discord among the elite. He waves a hand. It's all stuff Taroff can easily disavow mind. He's not a criminal after all. Stand-up guy. He smirks. In short, I have my hatred, but also have my uses, so things balance out. To be fair, even if I weren't on a leash, I'd still have my haters. You've met me. Yeah, you're a ray of sunshine. My most endearing quality. But don't worry, we have plenty of dark things to talk about. Just not here. We're gonna stop somewhere before we head to the rain. Where? Satya Temple. The one on the edge of the lake? That's the one. Why? Ambience. Really? It's one of the few places that I can personally guarantee the company won't be listening. He squints upward, nothing this time. Or anyone else. I've never been to Satya, but thinking of it summons a warm memory of Derek's unscarred face, backlit by the artificial cavern sun. He's smiling. I shake my head and swallow it. What do you think of Derek? He stares at me. I told you. This isn't about your memories. It's just... Well, he warned me about you. Did he? Yeah, nothing I'm sure that you can't guess. He's a decent man, too loyal for his own good, nosy bitch. But he's always been like that. You've known him for a while? Crown looks away, swirling the remnants of his booze. It's none... Don't. Not this time. He's part of all this too. Either I ask you or I ask him. Crown stares at his drink and replies with less fury than I expected. For a long while, he was a detective, now was a private investigator. Before this, he gestures to his fancy clothes. We worked together sometimes, were opposed sometimes. He had bosses, I had clients. Our relationship's complicated. Got that. And what's that supposed to mean? I roll my eyes and decide against the obvious follow-up. Now you're leashed by his dad? You're telling me that there's no connection there? Not one that I want to talk about. You prefer that I ask him? Do what you want. The conversation dies there. Crown sips the rest of his conch and then taps at an armrest. The tint on the glass walls fade just as the list drops down from the bedrock and into a dense cloud of moisture. High above the city, it's raining over New Leos. Water peppers and streaks over the glass. The glare of the city lights 1,000 animal eyes staring through the mist. It's night cycle. I can only barely make out the blurry phantoms of various landmarks connecting their shapes with memory. My memory, I think. Separating myself from him isn't getting any easier. The further down we go and the closer that we get to the places I can feel he's attached to, the more visions of his life bubble into being. I'm walking alone down a rainy alleyway in Gidowin, buzzing with fluorescence. Maybe this time I'll get more information about Zest. Derek thinks I'm being too single-minded, reckless. He offered to use his resources quietly. But I don't want to risk involving the company. I can do this on my own. One of so many memories floating just within reach. Ravi. His now empty glass has been set aside, hands folded in his lap. He looks almost statuesque now, expression cool, smooth. Take a breath and focus on something that's yours. That's what works for me. How did you know? Because I'm going through the same thing. Remember our agreement. I know. Again, I look out to the city. I can see a good portion of the towering metro barely contained in its subterranean housing, a cavern so massive, I'd never have imagined such a thing possible without seeing it firsthand. That's my memory, the first time that we came. Uriel and I had been shivering in a crowded refuge house just off the topside docks. Well, I was shivering. She was made of stern dark stone, like the support columns that loom over this place, natural monoliths dotted with advertisements and warning lights for hovercraft. That coolness distanced us in the white. She was always on alert, had no time for affection or warmth. I was closer to Dad then. But in that refuge house, something changed. I saved this for you, she said, and handed me a sprig of dried mint. She must have been holding onto it for months. Himament endures. So too will you endure much greater things than this. It's the kind of thing that I expected her to say, but as we saw Dad returning, she quickly pressed that dry sprig into my hand like it was something secret. Do this for me, child. She smiled. Remember that kindness is not always warm. Her smile faded, eyes flicked to Dad's approach. Nor warmth always a kindness. I clutched those dried leaves as Dad informed us that he had made a deal to secure citizenship credentials. He was triumphant, radiating joy. And warmth. What was it Derek had said? Less than 1% become citizens. Your family does enjoy defying the odds. I rubbed my temples. That was supposed to be a good memory. Uriel reaching out to me, not... I spied Crown's cool reflection in the window glass. Had Dad also been forced into some sort of political arrangement? Like jazz singers? A memory rises to answer. If I had a better solution, Invenedge, I would give it to you, Derek said. Those scars on his face were still raw, fresh. But after everything that you've done? The stoic cold of his voice cracks. So does something deep in my chest, Crown's chest. Fathers agreed. I see the longing in his remaining eye. He's your only option. To reach. I'm sorry, but I can only wince and look away. No. I shake my head. That's not mine. Don't miss it. Best view of HQ in the city. I look up from my frustration. The mist parts, and there it is, clear in spite of dripping shadows. A dominating structure spanning cavern floor to roof and half as wide. All sleek planes and hard angles, it looms, a glossy and dark glassed, uncompromising rectangle with sun-bright lettering embossed across its top. Vertica City? Virtua City. The city unto itself. There are those other megastructures that support the cavern housing of New Leos, dark monoliths carved from living stone, organic despite being covered in flashy neon. But the company HQ is the largest by far, with nothing organic about it. Best view of HQ in the city, he says. It's impossible to miss. Arriving at Grand Meridian Station. My seat creaks as I lean back. Almost there. We descend low enough for sky traffic to break up our view. Municipal transports of LTC mixed with sporty high-altitude hovercraft. The visual distraction is a mercy. Lower. The rock scrapers of the urban jungle reach towards us, and then we're surrounded by them, tall buildings echoing the skyscrapers of San Luis above. They're still dwarfed in size by the local megastructures, but those number in the tens. Rock scrapers number in the thousands. Lower. More lights, more traffic. Vehicles get cheaper the less altitude that they can handle, so the ground and the mid-sky tend to have the worst of it. Lower still. Maglev tracks and sky bridges, bodies moving on the rainy streets below. The sounds of the city. Motion and energy and light. Welcome to Grand Meridian Station. Connection information is available on station monitors or local net at the Meridian LTC domain. Will you be needing a private car today? No, thank you. The LTC appreciates the continued patronage of the Allo family. Have a good evening. You don't want to abuse a private car service? Get another drink? I've got my own ride. Besides, even I don't want to get too used to this. His hand flicks in bitter dismissal. Come on. The lift door opens into another lounge of popular Iola Futura opulence, all graceful circles with soft colors, mirrors, and silvery coolness. It's also full of people, rich with corporate trappings. There's normally a lot of stops on the way down from the descent station that we just blew by, private housing for couple favorites that overlook the city and so on. So I'm not too surprised by the crowd. Stinks. I couldn't agree more. Crown's suit invites a few looks, but mostly provides him space to hurry into the public terminal. Meanwhile, my garbage-looking ass stands out in the lounge, but blends right in as soon as we leave. So I'm jostled by the crowd. Grand Meridian is always busy. Much of the architecture is like the lounge, with elegant metalwork and lots of reflective surfaces, brightly lit at all times. It makes the place glitter. Which also makes it a favorite hangout spot for food stalls, buskers, street performers, all sort of in need of attention or money. The place is alive with music and a dueling sense of food and synthetic spices. And people. Where'd you park? Not in the corporal lot, I'm guessing. The man checks his watch. Less talk, more walk, or we'll be late. I'm forced to thread through the bodies to stay with him. It's annoying. Sure thing, master. He slows. You know what? Fine. I'll be demanding daily jogs around the city and early morning cold water ablutions until you're one with the universe. He steps aside again, glancing briefly over his shoulder. Desh. Huh? Call me Desh, not Master. Another step and he passes through the security gate, merging with the busy terminal's main river of bodies. He's gone before I can ask him what the hell Desh means. I hurry to catch up. Cal fucking Crown, wait up! He doesn't. I doubt that he can hear me over the low roar of too many voices mixed with the electric beats. I weave and dodge and only catch up to him, a bit out of breath, when he pauses at a small garden filled with trampled flowers. At its center is a single old tree with a supported bent trunk, all under an open part of the glass roof, brightened with glowing lights. It's wet. Got you. I breathe. He holds a hand, gesturing his head to a lonely direwolf standing in the rain at the edge of the garden, water dripping from a wide-brimmed straw hat. The Azarathrian monk wears simple, leather-wrapped clothing stained with moisture. Face hidden, hand holding out a wooden bowl. He could at any moment step to the side and out of the rain. But all he does is chant the Yagios, Yagios, Yagios? A prayer for the Waj of the tree. A time-worn stone icon is set beneath the wolf, half lost in ancient roots. Crown tosses a loose bit-credit chit into the bowl. His hovercraft is a sleek, bright red two-door Mahis FX Corvette. Built with lightweight and durable alloys, jazzed-up engine, full hover and even an optional gun mount, it's a sort of thing made for corpos and celebrities who want to look impressive from a distance. Rain patters against its window as we rise out of the station square and over the worst of the mid-sky traffic. The reservoir isn't far from here and comes into view quickly as we soar along the high sky lanes and then descend to the scenic Lakeview flyway. You got something to say? He side-eyes me, hands on the wheel. It's nothing. Dash. The corner of his mouth twitches. It's not nothing if you're gonna sit there looking smug. It's an expensive car. Yeah. Like, really expensive. Dash. He grunts, restraining himself. It must be getting on his nerves. Good. I'm still annoyed at being outpaced at the terminal, and the tease is a distraction from the burden of his memories. Judge me again and I can drop you in the lake. A short jolt and then he sets us down into a paved courtyard, a quick hike from the temple. He thumbs through the path with a violent jerk. Out. The rain has stopped, but the smell of living soil is strong. Leafy plants and especially trees are a rarity in New Leos due to the need for grow lights to supplement the simulated day-night cycle, but a number of them frame the pavement leading up to the reservoir's edge. Wet and glittering. Beyond them, peeking above their highest branches, rise the improbable wood and thatch structure of Satyan, the only such structure of any appreciable size in the city. So, why here? We begin to walk. It's in the name, a temple dedicated to the Sowaj of memory. Appropriate, no, given current circumstances? That and I have a relationship with the monks here. We can speak candidly. Must be some relationship. The company has ears everywhere in New Leos. Are you a distinguished personage, Desh? He snorts and looks away. But as we pass through a gate in the high stone encircling the temple grounds, I begin to understand. The machine sounds of the city, the ever-present hum of voices or music, it's all dulled. Even the urban glow here is muted. The more we walk, the thicker the aroma of soil now mixing with the airy flavor of water on stone and earthy sweetness of white blossoms and green foliage. A gentle lake-borne breeze spiral petals around us like snow. I hear the lapping of small waves against the shore. This place is different. Company surveillance is annoyingly pervasive, yes, but it's not without its holes. He gestures towards the gold-ornated temple itself, surrounded by its own wall, but high enough that we can see the pyramidical structure of the upper floors. Satyan is old. It remains because its Azrathian guardians are wise to the realities of balancing ideals with pragmatism. So the company gives them space. What does that mean? Just that it's safe. We have more pressing things to talk about. He walks towards the front of the temple where carved stairs lead down to a wide stone terrace built out and over the water. I follow. As I'm sure that you've noticed, something's missing. He presses a finger to my chest, right above my heart. It's confusing. I feel like there's too much in my head. Too much of you. I place my hand over the spot. But there's also this absence that I can't place. Because you did lose something. We are Ravayan, he said. Do you remember? That's what he took. I remember that he also said that we are Ingvinesh. He took that too. It's been about a year now, give or take. I don't understand. I mean, we're both still here. And lesser for it. He turns to look out over the water. I place my hands on the railing, worn, smooth by time. For an ancient blind thing, Vergatoy is nearly impossible to escape. It's a difficult thing to describe. He has a sort of future sight. Prescience. Once he has you, he has all of you, start to finish, birth to death. All paths your life could take become open to him, and he becomes them all. You still exist, sort of, like a puppet exists, one of his tongues. Your will becomes his will. Your power becomes his power. It's why he only ever hunts children of radiance, jazz users. Or so I figure. How do you know all of this? That's complicated. I roll my eyes. Provocative answer, Desh. Listen. I'm certain that he says it just to make me shiver. The only thing that you need to know is I risked my ass to loophole a god thing, and it's a fucking quirk of fate that it worked twice. So don't expect to be saved again. I try not to swallow too loudly. What Vergatoy said is true. He is a lot of things, but not a liar. Connecting with you means the idea, the story, the soul of Ravayan is his, or will be. Really, all I did was buy you time. I made us, you. Cal, I'm gonna have Ravi on the brain for days. He rubs his cheek. Anyways, I made you not entirely Ravayan very briefly by combining our memories, our stories, data patterns, souls, whatever. He needs some kind of context, connection, and understanding of your story to know you well enough to force integration. When we merged and obscured the pieces of Ravayan he was connected to, he lost that. He couldn't perceive our distinctions. He couldn't see the future of whatever it was that we became. He's known as a blind one for a reason. So, are we still invisible? Are we still safe? He snorts. Think about what you're asking. That protection lasted only so long as we stopped existing as individuals. You in a hurry to disappear? Both arms on the railing now. I rest my forehead against them. Shit. Didn't think so. How did you escape before? Was it just you? You know, it's lucky that you are who you are, as weird as that might sound. Raya is one of the few places wise enough to keep the story naming tradition alive. It's giving you the chance to become something new by your own will. I remember you telling Jiv that you wanted freedom. Well, here it is. I look up at him. You know that's not what I meant. It doesn't matter. He shakes his head. Your story name is a shield. It represents a particular life, a particular set of possible outcomes. The longer that you hold it, the more history and possibility it accumulates, the larger it becomes, better obscuring everything left behind it. Deflecting for science, confusing for Gartway. Do you understand? Not really. I feel like I've lost something, yeah, but I still have all the memories, I think. I don't feel like I'm a different person. Because you're not. You have to keep in mind story space is a realm of concepts and ideas. Vergatwe didn't literally bite off and swallow a chunk of you. Instead, think of it like two overlapping circles. There's now a fuzzy place, an open drain where Ravayan ends and he begins. That's his hook in you, the hole that you feel, the place where he'll grow Ravayan the tongue. The more his circle overlaps yours, the more his will becomes your will. So as long as you're connected to Ravayan, the idea of that person, that soul, will eventually lose yourself to him. But Ravi, or whoever you decide to become, that is a different circle overlapping the far side of Ravayan, safe from Vergatwe's influence for now. By investing yourself there, in that other idea, the other soul, and then leaving Ravayan behind, you can become unrecognizable to him. He tugs at one of his ears, suddenly radiating irritation. So as much as it's a fucking pain in my ass, I'll do what I can to help you. I begin to speak, but he cuts me off with a raised hand. I know. I'm not avoiding your question about me. He pauses, the muscles of his jaw working, his shoulders flex with tension. When he caught me, my name was Ingvinesh, but unlike you, I didn't have a story name to hide behind. I was forced to take dramatic action to shed everything that I was. I had to do some. He takes a long, shuddering breath. Truly regrettable things to put distance between that name and Crown. He nods. Enough distance to go out of Vigatre's power, of prescience. How do you know that it was enough? Because Crown isn't a name. He tries to hide it, breathing slowly to even his tone. But I can still sense the pain. It's a title, and it's all that I am now. So, just know that it's enough. He looks away from the water, turning towards me with an expression that's suddenly softer, apologetic. For what it's worth, kid, I'm sorry that I don't have the power to reinvent you. I didn't even have the power to reinvent myself. As long as you maintain any connection with the idea of Ravayan, of who you were before, Berngruff will take you. It's only a matter of time. Even if I avoid using story time forever? It's true Sawash can't cross the threshold, but he has a connection with you now, not unlike our connection before. So if you use your powers outside of story space, and you can, and you will because you will need them, he'll reach out to you. In places where the jazz is rich and the threshold thin, he'll reach out to you. Maybe even in your dreams, he'll reach out to you. You can't avoid him, but you can resist him, and in time escape him by becoming something new. Are you prepared for that? I truly don't know. But my life already hasn't been easy, and with a father like Aaron, I do have a lot of experience living with uncertain threats. So the promise of a certain threat is kind of a relief. At least this way I know what to prepare for. Though saying it out loud is kind of depressing. But I'll pull through. Crown frowns and turns towards the temple, looking up as if remembering something uncomfortable and searching for an answer. There's so much that I know that he's not telling me, things that I could try to tease out of his memories, but I can barely control them as it is. By the way, why do I still have your memories? I realized that we were, merged for a while, but it seems like we're pretty cleanly separated. He shakes his head. Honestly, I don't know. I've shared memories before, but they were always brief, contained things. Nothing like this. I was idly hoping being here might strike me with an answer. Maybe I'd hear the voice of Sati, or even the Holy Mother herself. He snorts. Listen to me. I'm no monk. Considering I doubted Sawaj were real yesterday, I don't think that I'm a place to judge you. I push myself from the stone, stretching my back, and then I dare to pat his shoulder. On the contrary, I'll be leaning on my magnificent and wise teacher here to instruct me. Right, Desh? He doesn't pull away. What does that mean anyways, Desh? His eyes are still on the temple, but then he shakes his head. Eh? You told me to call you Desh. What does it actually mean? Or what have I actually been calling you? Oh. He finally smiles. It means babysitter. There he goes, the Vision Keeper, now settled under his crown's tutelage. I watch as they leave. You say that I am not subject to your will, Mother, and yet... Am I not here because of you? Did I not take part in the design because of you? I squeeze the old wooden railing just outside the temple's inner gates, red, rough, with faded and chipped paint. Trees are so rare here. In the Azrathian design, the wood for this railing would have been grown from the seed in the holy soil, tended and nurtured until severed from its true purpose. To guard and watch until decay takes us. Could they have ever escaped that destiny, those trees? I look over the sparkling water, then up at the false moon and clouded canopy, clever illusions that hide the walls of the stone cage. Is a Tailspinner's story truly so absolute? Knowing a certain future, do I but fail against eternity? Is there no justice in Prescience, Mother? I exhale slowly. Something to my left moves. Are you going to stand there forever, Raeshin? She appears from thin shadows cast by the walls. I notice, not from the darker shade inside the gate. Still avoiding our sacred spaces. I greet you, honored wanderer. And I reveal myself, as our accord demands. Would you have revealed yourself had I not called out to you? Would you have struck me from the shadows? Would it have changed anything? She steps forward to join me at the railing, aware of the answer. Still so afraid of our temple grounds? I kick a little dust over the edge. Destiny isn't the dirt that sticks to the bottom of your shoes. If fear keeps me sharp to the traps of destiny, then I will remain afraid. Besides, holy dirt is more persistent than most. Best to remain tidy. I smile at her, weathered but still wily. Her dedication to resistance is remarkable. How unfortunate for her that gathering dirt is in the very nature of shoes. Unless one chooses to remain inside and do nothing. How long has it been? Many years. Why are you here? We look not at each other, but together observe the ripplings of the reservoir. The mirror of memory, old as the city. You know why. You were watching them too. I was. And you let them go. I did. A curious gesture for a story skeptic. I've told you how it's been written. How this chapter would begin. I've little interest in your design. And yet, you're here. To honor a promise. I will not participate in your Azrathian machinations. I'm simply allowing the boy to make his own choices, even if they are poor choices. You make me sound like the spider, a puppet pulling strings. Aren't you? I didn't write this story. Powers greater than I authored it centuries ago. A twitch of the jaw, she holds her tongue. And yet, you are here. You throw back my words knowing well the limitations of my position. It's a wanderer's duty to observe. A convenient position. Finally, she holds me in her vision. Given your history, would you rather I take it back? Her lips thin to a line. What of Crown then, wanderer? What of his story? It's forbidden to break the confidence of a child of radiance. You know this. Ah, there it is. The Azrathian oaths. Chiding, but her expression betrays nothing. She is testing me. So he's one of yours? Conjecture. All jazz singers are children of radiance. Deduction. No simple jazz singer would be here today. As you have said, it is written. So there's to be a dance. I will speak no more of it. But if you wish information, you know where to find it. She sighs. Say your piece then. There are those in Sarata who will speak with you, and gladly. They will expect me to lead them. They will. That is not why I'm here. You may soon realize that you have little choice in the matter. Or would you lean entirely on Aaron for networks and resources, knowing full well how much he keeps from you? What have you left if not faith and the faithful? All of your ties have been cut. Your honor lies shattered in vatches. Unless you intend to return the holy Anyali Hasto? Don't be insulting. I cannot steal what is not separate from me. You know this. Ah, there it is. Her eyes narrow at the echo. The bonding of spirits with your Tirtha, the Raeshin oaths. Not so simple a thing to defy, is it? These demands of fate. Mind the dirt on your shoes. Fires flare in her eyes, a hand flexes. She could kill me in an instant with the power of those gloves. But she won't. We are not the same. I see the years have not tempered your anger. She says nothing, and the truth is in the silence. A breath, and she quickly masters that emotion. You should know that your order has dispatched the Hierophant. She scoffs. They are willing to risk war, then? There will be no war. Not if he kills you quietly. She clicks her tongue. The Hierophant is rarely quiet. The Order has grown desperate. The Order has grown prepared. While you have grown complacent. All these years, you've acted the bodyguard or bartender. They've had time to plan the necessary incursions. The path for your assassination is clear. Not complacent. She turns back to the water. I study her expression, her posture, the minute movement of muscle beneath her skin. The anger is gone. Now there is a certainty to her eyes, potential in her limbs, though her body is relaxed. It is not the posture of a woman worried. She is committed. So that's the reason. Love. The lines around her eyes tighten. Love. Why? What is it to admire and believe in a thing beyond reason, if not to love that thing? You speak of faith. It's not like you to place such reverence in a man. I'm not. She turns to me, our eyes meeting. A final flourish to the stance, an attempt to spin me into uncertainty before we bow. Is it the both of them, then? Have you told them? Every day. In words? He knows. How can he be certain if you do not say it? Because he is young and often chooses not to listen. And because he is old, his ears stuffed with the sound of his own schemes. To reach the deaf, one must learn to speak without speaking. She toys with me. They must ignore you often. She regards me like the stone that she is made of. My voice is clear through action, just as yours is clear through absence. You disdain me because I wander. I disdain you because you do not tell him, and because you force my silence. She hisses it. The design demands it. Damn your design. In a moment, the presence of her becomes overwhelming and enormous. I fall back a step by the sheer power of her certainty. My voice is quiet. Urali, he cannot know. Our accord, I know. She cools. Despite the Order's lies, my honor remains. It's my turn to take a breath, returning to balance. I apologize if I implied otherwise. She pushes herself from the railing. You will not abandon this course? I turn my eyes back to the lake. She knows that I cannot. Then may the story threads guide you, honored wanderer. I hope that whatever they reveal, it is worth it. And then she is gone. I continue to stare at the water. Are you satisfied, mother? I think it bitterly. Her consciousness flickers in me, embers kindled in gentle flame. You blame me despite all my attempts to dissuade you. These are your choices, daughter. I continue to blame you because, despite all of your power, you do nothing. You assume with power comes knowledge of a right answer, some correct future. That no action means inaction. This is a tired argument. You know very well that, for there to be something better, we must make it better. A long time ago, you yourself pulled the world from the brink. Whatever happened to that wisdom? A curious word, better. Her words are heavy. You, of course, realize that this world was almost destroyed for better. Hence the design. We create something with the knowledge, experience, and foresight too. Is there no justice in free science? You wondered about it earlier. I pause, so she had been listening. There was a different story where you chose to stay with the child, as I know you wished to. Wouldn't that have been better? It was a selfish wish. Selfish in what way? To deprive yourself of him? or favoring the design over the justice of a child having a mother. And all for what? To cage him in destiny? Is it less just for him to not exist at all? Without the design, he wouldn't. Sacrifices are required for the Vision Keeper to be fully realized, my own included. Some justice is unavoidable for the world to achieve. What? Something better? With how much sacrifice? I begin to grind my teeth. How dare she test me on this? Her, of all creatures. You know exactly how much Raesh. She does not so much as pause. I do. So I know this pain you feel, this uncertainty. Because you love him. I grip the railing so tightly my nails score the wood. How can I love what I do not know? Why do you think that I left? You would have me love him just to watch him die? I can't stop the things that he must do. My sweet daughter, it is too late for that. What is it to admire and believe in a thing beyond reason, if not to love that thing? Don't shame me with her words. It erupts from me in an abrupt, cracked sob. It's always the burden of us mothers to suffer watching when we cannot act, as I have watched you, your sister, and countless others, and to then be tempted to ask, if I can do nothing, is this worth it? Is feeling anything worth it? In those moments, love is a bitter medicine. It is both our pain and our salvation. Is it worth it? Another echo of Uriel. Another breath. I wipe my eyes. You're worried that I'll become like her, the chairman. You've already seen what one caged heart can do. You threaten to cage yours with destiny, just as much as you cage your son. I pray that this design won't force you to forget what that love feels like. I don't know if I have the strength to do this any other way. For now, please just return to him and keep watch for both of us. And that's where I'm going to leave it for today. So, a lot of stuff happened. And first and foremost, we now more or less know what happened when Crown saved Ravi. We know that, again, they merged temporarily in order for Crown to be able to sort of hide Ravi from the blind one. But unfortunately, this is more of a temporary thing, and the blind one is still going to be after Ravi. The thing is that Ravi now has a protection against the blind one in the fact that he is now not Ravayan. His storyteller name, I think that's what it's called, a storyteller or story spinner name, which used to shield him from, I guess, the consequences or things that were happening during story time, is now lost. So now, as I understand it, he now has the opportunity / he has to be forced to become somebody else, either during story time or in general, so that the blind one cannot go after him, or at the very least so that the blind one has to again try to connect into him, spear him, if you will. Because as the Crown mentioned, the part that Ravi is missing, the hole that he feels, is the part that the blind one hooked into. That it's what it took. And that part was Ravayan. But now that Ravayan is missing, that part can be filled by something else. He could be what's the name that he uses? I think it's Null Point, or it could be something else. And Ravi now has technically the freedom to be something else. Whether or not he, does anything good with it, we don't know yet. We also got, again, to see Ravi and Crown dealing with the whole shared memories, shared experiences thing, where Ravi is again getting these brief glimpses of Crown and Alodamaric, or Damaric for short, interacting and how they used to be, how apparently there was some, I don't want to call it love, but at least there was something where they were really, really close. Something happened, either that Crown did or Crown had to do, and he ended up in the employ of Dameric's father, which is Tarloff, which he did not want to be under. Also, we also got to find out that the reason why Crown is called Crown and not, I think the name was Invenej, is because he had to basically also lose his own name, his own identity, in order to not be captured by the Blind One. So that's why Crown is called Crown and not Invenej. That's why Crown does not allow Dameric to refer to him by that name, because that is no longer his name. And I also have a theory that if he decides to again refer to himself by Invenej, then that would make it so that the Blind One is able to again recapture, or at least re-skewer, re-anchor itself to Crown. So now he can't use that name. Now he's just stuck as Crown. I mean, he could probably try again by picking a different name, a new identity, but that's probably like starting from square one. Everyone knows him as Crown. His whole identity is Crown. But Crown is just a title, it's not a name. And that's probably gonna be something that Ravy is gonna have to deal with too. Is he gonna go by some little hacker name, or is he gonna try to reinvent himself? Or what? Because he can't be called Ravayan anymore. His storytime name / shield is gone now. We were also, I don't remember if the Wanderer ever showed up before. I'm blanking on it. But let's pretend that we were introduced to them, and it's this person that is apparently has been watching Ravy, or is watching the events unfold of the story, I'm assuming, and they have some connection to Uriali. I keep forgetting how to pronounce the name. I have access to the pronunciation thingy, the file from the story, but like I didn't bring it up. But they were chatting with them. They were kind of antagonistic, but also like very familiar. And it seems that they are somehow connected to Ravy himself. But for whatever reason, they are unable to actually interact with him, to speak with him. And that seems to be something that this Wanderer regrets, but knows that they have to do. So I'm kind of wondering if they're the mother or the sister. When the Wanderer themselves were speaking with the one known as, the one that they called Mother, or was it the Operator? I forgot what was the name. They were really mad about the fact that they couldn't be with Ravy, I'm assuming. Unless they were talking about Crown. I'm pretty sure it was Ravy. So I'm led to believe that they are a very close relative that quote-unquote disappeared. But yeah, so some confusing things are happening, but also some interesting things are happening, I guess. But yeah, we're now gonna end up at the, I believe it's called the Mother's Reign. It's the bar where the group is at, so yeah. And yeah, so anyway, so thank you all for watching / listening. If you would like to play String Zero yourself, you can do so by going down into the link in the comments, which should have a direct link for the itch.io page where you can download the game. If you would like to support the project, you can subscribe to their Patreon and get earlier access to builds of String Zero. Again, I don't know what that icon next to the Patreon logo is, but the only thing I can think of is a subscribe star. I don't know if they have that. I'm just saying that. Some people are starting to use it now because of Patreon's policies. But anyway, so yeah, all those links down in the description, and if you would like to become a channel member and help support the channel and get earlier access to the videos as they're being scheduled, that link will be somewhere down in the description, or that should be able to show up under the video like the physical video that you're watching right now. It should be under it. What else? Also, Ko-fi in case you can't support through there. You know, there's that. Or Throne in case you're feeling very generous. So yeah. Anyway, so I guess that's it for now, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.